Well, welcome to EnvrioTalk, our podcast program. And today we actually have our guest, Chris Hardin, and he is leading the task force for the EnvrioSummit, our global EnvrioSummit that we're hosting in Charlotte, North Carolina, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And obviously, in the midst of a pandemic, we've pulled together a task force, and Chris Hardin today is heading that up for us. And so we've got him on the program to talk a little bit more about health and safety guidelines, how to do a conference in a safe way. I've been saying from the beginning, and I'm sure many of you all have heard me say this, but as the environmental industry, we are built on health and safety. Everything we do is about health and safety. Our whole industry is about cleaning up the contamination for the public health and safety of everybody. And so if anybody can pull together a conference, frankly, if anybody can do this, we can do this. And I look at this and I think, this is the way to beat COVID-19. This is the way. We work together and we come together and we actually meet as that's something that we're not supposed to do. But the fact of the matter is, the health industry, we know how to do this. Yeah. So anyway, that's our program. Hey, Chris, welcome today to the EnvrioTalk, and tell us a little bit more about your background and your company and that sort of thing.
Well, I've been in the Charlotte region almost 30 years, and I've done some of the largest environmental cleanups. I'm kind of known as the guy who does a lot of coal ash now, but I actually did the largest mercury cleanup in North Carolina at the Duracell battery factory. I've worked on several sediment cleanups. I've done sediment cleanups in China, large ones. The largest inland sediment cleanup in China in Tianjin was my project with the World Bank. So I've done a lot of different types of contamination cleanups. Was involved early on with some of the bigger environmental firms working on use of FEMA and Army Corps of Engineers sites. So my background is many, many years of remediation, contamination cleanups. I got my HAZWOPER training way back, my 40-hour HAZWOPER, way back in 1989.
Wow.
And so
stepping back in time there.
That you didn't get a certificate back then, you got a book.
Really?
Yeah. Now
no kidding.
But it was early. It was one of the first 5 HAZWOPER courses in the country, given by my company, blessed by the federal government, OSHA and everything. Yeah. So the thing is, we've been doing this a while. I do say that right now, North Carolina is in a unique place in that we have a lot of big things. We have PFAS going on. We have coal ash going on. We have one of the largest coal ash cleanups getting ready to start at 6 different sites. At the same time, we have a state that's being very safe and measured in the approach toward COVID. This can be done in a safe way. And what you're seeing is folks from different groups, business and health officials coming together. I helped to write the one for Gaston County, which is bringing back to business safely. Mm-hmm. And also, we also interacted with Mecklenburg County on some of this, mainly getting small businesses back going, and then also construction businesses back going, manufacturing, real practical stuff. And all it is when the health officials come together with the people who are doing the work, and we develop the guidelines, in this case from the governor's guidelines, it becomes very, very practical. And then when you go, I call it boots on the ground, out there, seeing it spaced out, it can be done and will be done safely, and we can't get business back. We've got to get the businesses back. And so we've been actively talking with businesses in Charlotte. Also, as Travis, as you know, my sideline is my wife are involved and I are involved actively with STEM education, local food movement in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So we know a lot of these small businesses that are hurting because of the fact that the food service was really impacted. Huge. So we were out last night. I was out checking out places that could be venues. They were very open. They got all the protocols up. They are ready to host safe conferences and make sure there's outdoor events that'll be hosted. They got all the signage up. Now, not every place does.
Right.
But the ones that we know that are within walking distance or a short ride from this conference they're ready, half outdoor, very spaced out, nice restaurant places. So the city of Charlotte is ready too.
Yeah, the city of Charlotte was in preparation of a massive conference, the Republican National Convention, or the RNC, and everybody's seen that, of course, in the news. They've decided to move out of town, which is fine. But granted, like you said, the RNC is still having their delegate meeting here in Charlotte just the week before us. So they're going to have a few hundred people meeting, and they're working with them to do it safely, so that obviously you can continue on to do business. And the political business that is important, and still continue to meet and get together. No different than us. I mean, I think, Chris, you said very well, PFAS is still there. It's not like it's gone to sleep during the pandemic. It's still there. We still need to clean it up. These issues are still there, right? We've got to continue to work, and we've got to learn how to get back to work, and we've got to continue to meet and get together and just know how to do it safely. And I think that's what our COVID task force is put together.
Yes, and it is, I mean, the groups that will be coming here, and there's actually some groups from neighboring states that'll be driving in, or flying in a safe plane. They've all got it planned out. We also expect two prominent state regulators to be coming. We're going through the proper procedures so they can come. Talk about PFAS and coal ash. Then we expect industry professionals from across, the Southeast and other places where travel can be happening. It's time. Charlotte is ready. And I think also this task force is very much, we're interacting with all the right people. And they even said to us, if a group can do it the right way, we know that you will.
Yes, I know it. Exactly. That's the beautiful thing, is having that phone call with them. And they're like, hey, if anybody could do, the groups that they're concerned about are the ones that just could care less and are just like, oh, this is overblown. In the environmental industry, we know what health and safety, how important that is. And so we know that everybody who is attending our conference is actually going to take this seriously and really abide by the guidelines. So let's talk about the guidelines. Let's, obviously the 3 W's, that's important. And, wearing a mask and waiting, really talk about social distancing and washing your hands, right? Let's talk about some of those.
Come in the context of, they come right out of the CDC guidelines and the governor's executive orders, which are based by a very thorough approach of North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services to stop the spread. The goal thing is to stop it in the communities, and it is worked well. You hear about North Carolina's numbers going up. I need to say this: I look at the data, and they're going up in places. It's still going up in cities, but it's due to testing. But a lot of the going up in North Carolina is not because of mystery spike, but we have 30% of the food processing in the country goes through our state. So we have a lot of
30%.
30%. It may, it varies, but we have a very large chicken industry, pork industry, turkey industry, and I would encourage folks in North Carolina, if they look at it, there's actually maps you can look at. The per capita spread is highest in places who are remote from the cities now. The cities, I'd say, have it under control. There's adequate hospital space, all that. They're looking at it very serious. But at the same time, we're seeing spread in places. We're trying to keep businesses going to feed people, and they're still working on that. So those are things that, frankly, health and safety professionals can work on. Okay, these are new things. Now, I think if I can look at the 6 items that we're focusing on, I'm going to hold this up here real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is in the plan that we have written to, and actually partially with the county. And following guidelines that are already there. They're very well published, they're out there. But I'm focusing on 6 items: social distancing, minimizing exposure, monitoring for symptoms, cloth face coverings, cleaning and hygiene, and we call enhanced HVAC systems. I'll explain what that is. Water and ventilation if a building has been shut down. And then video conferencing, so that if we get a whole lot of people coming to one item, that we can split it.
Yes.
So we can have also people who may have compromised immune systems, they could attend. Would possibly attend in their hotel room or from their home.
From their home, yeah.
And Travis, I know this conference is putting money into that proactively. It was already, I said, Travis, you're probably going to need to do that. He said, it's already being done.
Yep.
So we were, even before we talked about this COVID stuff, and I reached out to Travis because of what I'm doing, he says, this is already moving ahead. But we've got to communicate that properly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's neat about it is that if that's tied into this interim guidelines for large venue gatherings, okay, that's May 22nd. And there have been previous things that said minimum of 25 people or maximum of 25 people even for outdoor gatherings. That has evolved. So we are getting an official statement on that that says event gatherings can go larger if they use those 6 requirements. And that's what we're going to do.
Right.
So we're making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And at the same time, then we got to make it practical.
Yeah.
Then we got to know, we're going to have like how people walk into the place, how they sign in. Symptom checking is
symptom checking. Yep.
Symptom checking will be a given item. And then at the same time, symptom checking will say, have you been around someone who had COVID in the last, couple of days? Then you have to, that all has to be there. So
right.
People, as they prepare for the conference, should think, okay, maybe I shouldn't go out of country and then come back,
right.
Or if they're coming into the country and they come in the right way, they're totally fine too.
Yeah.
Okay? It's all in how it's done. There are clear procedures on all this, but also unlike what you hear, there's a lot of concern in the media, but if you dig deep, you start to see a consistency of these 6 things of what you can do. And talking with the county health officials, the groups that are doing that are controlling the spread.
Yeah.
And they're doing business.
And they're doing business, exactly. They're getting back to work in a safe and healthy way, and that's exactly what we're talking about doing here. You talked about some of the international flights, whether if you've been out of town internationally, maybe you should reconsider coming. We of course have set up this as a global summit, and so we'll have a speaker from Europe, from China, from Australia, a couple speakers from the Middle East. Some of them I know are still planning on flying, and then some of them we're actually just remote them, and we're going to put them up on a big screen, a massive screen. And so we'll be doing that and just accommodating, but we still plan to have speakers from around the globe that are talking about what is going on in their region of the world. South America is another. We've got a speaker that's really kind of talking on behalf of what's going on, environmentally speaking, there in South America. But anyway, as a global approach, I don't expect that we'll have a lot that are flying in, but I know we will still be hearing from those keynote speakers from around the globe. But then our breakout sessions are going to be focused on remediation in one room, PFAS. We'll have some PFAS training, really working with ITRC on that. We've got an air monitoring group. There'll also be a future of coal ash group. So there'll be presentations on what's going on in light of maybe plant shutdowns, but yet coal ash and where is that going? Vapor intrusion. We have a whole group that's coming to the conference specifically on vapor intrusion. And so anyway, we've put together just a fantastic program that I know the locals, if you will, here in the U.S., that will want to come and really participate in all of that and hear what's going on globally, and then here locally and see, how we can continue to work together to clean up the pollution that is all around us. So,
right. Yeah, I think what's saying that, Travis, too, is that you're saying it too, is all those that we need to get together.
Yes.
We need to get together safely. And the problem is it has to be done in such a way that there needs to be collaboration on these issues, because they are also equally as important. Their impacts on human health and the environment have not stopped. So,
right.
And this is where I think when I reached out to you, I said, we need to do this. We've got to coordinate the team.
Yeah.
Okay? And if the team doesn't coordinate, then you're going to have unintended things happening in other areas that is because we didn't come together and coordinate. It's pretty amazing.
And I was going to say, people can find the team that we're talking about there on our website. If you go to EnvrioSummit.com and then just click on the COVID-19, you can see a little bit more about our team that we've put together. And so on that team has been the Mecklenburg County manager. She's working right with us. The senior health official for Mecklenburg County. We've already been in correspondence with the governor's office here in North Carolina, Governor Cooper. They've been great to work with, as well as the health department here in North Carolina. They've been reviewing everything and been really welcome us coming and putting this on. And so Talk a little bit about the communication with, Gibby Harris, who we just had a phone call with the other night. Talk a little bit more about that and just their, working with them and their approval and really what that means for our conference.
Yeah, I think the most important thing that people need to hear, and this is where Gibby Harris's office, and we've been dealing with a lot of her folks who are really boots on the ground, working with the community businesses, is when there's a consistent approach. What you'll hear is, you'll hear a media thing saying, well, this didn't happen. And what you don't hear is all the good things that are going on.
Right.
And how this health department here has got everything. They've been on it, planned, talking to people in the midst of a place where you can't talk to people face to face.
Right.
They have been reaching out, and we got a call back from them, interaction back with them within a day and a half.
Yeah.
And they also said, we want this conference to go on. What's nice is it's balancing that business and health. And at the same time, when everybody understands the rules of the game, so to speak, and Gibby was great with that. She says, we're here, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to review your stuff. She has a person, I'm going to mention his name, Daniel Ortiz is the person who's assigned to this. He's looking at this, he's reviewing it. They'll coordinate. Mecklenburg County has direct coordination with the state because of their size. So they are working with us, and the state will work collaboratively with Mecklenburg County. So the team is, I was saying, wow, you hear about all the conflict. This team is coming together for the sake of business the right way.
That's exactly right.
Now, I'm going to go back a little bit to the RNC thing, just briefly, because what happened is this was already set up. They were going to split up into 6 different venues.
Right.
And there was politics that went on. But I actually talked to the lady who was with one of the security companies. She goes, no, this was very organized. We had video coming in. We had other stuff coming in. So what's happening is the things that you're tapping into, Travis, the people get it, that if you divide up the conference rooms, you do different things a certain way, it can be done, it will be done safely.
Yeah.
Okay? And then there's layers of precaution. And what this does too, this becomes very important for the businesses too that are coming, because they got to know this. But this is the conference that they can go to and meet their own business protocols for doing it the right way. Temperature checks at a conference. Okay.
Yeah.
Symptom checks at a conference.
At a conference. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's why Gibby, he says, we know you guys are into this, and we'll do it the right way.
Yep.
And then what we'll do is there'll be other videos coming out about what people can expect, right, Travis? We'll have the pictures and say, okay, here's the lines, this is what's going to look like, this is what we're doing. So there's things that will be done at this conference with workshops that will really make sure it's a safe environment, but also talking about very important things that are not safe right now, which is other types of contamination.
Yes. Yeah. I went to the dentist this week, and when I first showed up at the office, the lady said, all right, I got to do a temperature reading. So she held this thing up. I felt like I was on like Star Trek, so she holds this thing, or maybe it was MIB, she puts this thing in my head, and, I'm like, what am I thinking right now? But, in a matter of a second, it was just a quick thing. In a matter of seconds, she had, my temperature, and it's just things like that we can do at our conference, so that it makes sure that, hey, if you didn't know you were running a fever or something like that, you didn't know, now you know. And so, then there's guidelines, of course, of making sure somebody understands. But within seconds, I had a temperature reading, and she knew I was fine, and I was able to come in for the dentist appointment. So
I got to tell funny. So I got a haircut the other day. I had done my own haircutting for a couple months, and it was pretty bad. So I went to a haircut place. First comes in, and it was in a one of the business, not in the downtown. It was out in a place, and all these construction guys getting haircuts, and this guy gives me a temperature check. I said, man, you guys are professional. Okay. And the thing is, and we were laughing because one of the guys got his temperature check, and he was 98.6. He was 95.6. I said,
oh, really?
You've been putting too much antifreeze, man. And everybody wore masks sitting there before they got their haircut. And now there's a few places that may not do that. And those are the ones that will get focused on. This conference is different.
Right.
Not only during the day, in the evenings, we're going to have places where people can go where they know the restaurant or the place they go to is also doing it the right way. I think I told you, I walked around where the conference is going to be and checked out about 3 or 4 different venues. All had the signs up.
Yes.
All said they're ready to support.
Yeah.
Because there's other smaller conferences coming. So the whole neighborhood, if you want to call it, around the conference,
Yes.
is getting ready and on it.
Yes.
Not
Exactly.
just this, but when they heard, they go, "Wow, cool! An environmental conference." I got another, and they had all their signage up.
And we'll be at the Sheraton in Uptown, and so of course we're working with the Sheraton on cleaning and extra cleaning, and we'll have a company coming in doing extra cleaning. Matter of fact, I'd like to have the owner on our podcast program. We'll have the company. I'd like to have the owner of the company that does the temperature readings on the program. Just talk a little bit more about that. So we've got some other guests that we'll do here in the future, but all of that. The training has happened, not only for the RNC, but just, like you said, the restaurants, they've been trained on how to clean. And, we can do this in a safe and healthy way. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right. So it really is. We're talking, the conference itself is set up. And at the same time, then we have the evening events will be set up, not like super controlled, but there'll be places around that people know this is where you go. And the Charlotte restaurants, what we're talking about is creating, in a good way, through good technology, good communication, a safe bubble on an important series of topics. Not just this is vapor. That's all essential. So That's what this conference will do. And also we can, different corporations and sponsors, they can look at it and know that they are going and supporting a conference that is being done the right way and in accordance with state and federal guidelines, which, believe it or not, are fairly clear right now. You hear about all the misinformation. There's a lot of clarity if you actually read the documents and not what people say about the documents.
Correct. Yeah.
And we need that. We need that confidence now.
Yeah.
We need, hey, we can do something the right way and we can beat this virus together and
That's
do
it.
environmental.
That's it. And that's what beating the conference together. Beating the COVID-19 together with a conference. That's the way I look at this is let's do this together. Let's work together and beat the virus by holding this conference. That's true.
And we're going to space out. And we've got environmental professionals who know this.
Yes.
I'm going to show you one thing here. This is a mask.
Yep. Okay.
These will be around.
Yeah.
And they're pretty common now. The whole thing too, the official law, even coming to work, you hear about the mask law. It says, if you can't social distance, then you wear your mask. So what most people are doing, you're seeing around Charlotte, they carry a mask in their pocket when they're walking out on the street or something, doing exercising. And then when they go into a place, they have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything had masks before this last week. Stores were saying, please wear a mask. Mm-hmm. And then they had a mask thing, right? The thing. So I didn't see anybody who went into a store in the Charlotte region that we were going to who didn't have a mask on.
Yeah.
They would say, no problem.
Yeah.
Because they were in a closer setting.
Right.
So the same thing here. And then what you do is you just work it into the routine of a good conference.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I know we're running out of time, but let's talk a little bit about Calm, the group that you're actively involved with. And I know we see it on your shirt, on your logo,
That's right.
And I think you even had a coffee mug there.
Guys, this goes way back to like World War II, and the English are good. They can handle and they follow the stuff. And this is from Queen of England. Keep calm and carry on. This actually came from.
Hold it up a little further so we can see it. There we go.
Keep calm and carry on. We might even have these at the conference. Okay?
Yeah.
But these are really cool. It's also, which is really cool, that the reason we like this is, see the crown?
Yeah.
That's the crown for Queen Charlotte. So it's a similar crown. So, Charlotte is the Queen City. We like this. And so, but Calm is coal ash liquid management. Coal ash cleanups, there's a lot of concern with the safety of coal ash. And it's not official, but I would say unofficial. We're seeing like very low spread. And the reason why, way back in March, our industry jumped on it. There are deconning trucks, health and safety meetings, went to tailgate meetings outside, or 10 meetings or 10 people or less. They were totally on it. And so because of that, we're like a bubble as an industry from what we see, a very low spread. Okay. Right. Now, the thing is that's just like the environmental industry. But Calm was set up to take some of that anxiety We don't take one side. That we bring in the best practices, and we go ahead and we talk about safety. But right now, our industry has a very good, excellent track record for low community spread or spread of COVID. Like in the 0.001%.
Right. Yeah.
Which is incredible with a bunch of construction people.
Right. Yeah.
And so we, they'll be coming. Have a lot of our members coming. Calm will
how many members does Calm have?
We have, we have like 30 members. All the utilities are key stakeholders.
Yeah.
We have most of the largest contractors who are doing the collection units are part of Calm. Many of the engineering design firms are part of Calm. We have about 30 members. We talk about technology and solutions. And so they'll be coming. And then several of the utilities who are key stakeholders, we keep them in a key stakeholder role for the sake of transparency and everything. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't look like they're overly influencing us, but several of them will be coming. Utilities will be coming to this. And actually we've got one person who pretty prominent leader in one of the utilities would probably give a presentation of what's happening with coal ash cleanups during COVID.
Right. We also have a speaker, by the way, from DuPont that'll be presenting at the conference, and also from Duke Energy. I'm still working out the details as far as Duke Energy, but James Henderson from DuPont will be there speaking, but Duke Energy, of course, Duke Energy is headquartered here in Charlotte, one of the largest utilities in the U.S. But so they'll be presenting at the conference as well.
That's great, because this is the ground central right now for the kickoff of the real big coal ash cleanups.
Yeah.
There are 6 major projects going out, and then we'll actually have the regulator. That one regulator will be who is over coal ash for the state will be there too.
Yeah.
So we've got some very good things going forward, and we need to talk about this.
Yes.
The regulators are saying we've got to get together and host a carefully spaced out discussion conference.
Yep. That's it. That's exactly it. And that's what I love about working with the state of North Carolina, with the regulators there. Like you said, we've got a couple of key ones. One that is really well known comes to PFAS, and another one for coal ash. So both of them would like to speak. And so we're working directly with the state on all these guidelines and making sure that they can be here, healthy, safe, and speak.
Yep, that's it.
So, hey, thank you so much, Chris. I think this has been very informative. And as we kind of push this out, and we'll put this, of course, up on our website. And so no matter where you're watching, whether you're watching because you saw this in an email, what have you, we just wanted you to know what we've put together with our COVID task force, and really the leader here, Chris Hardin, who's very experienced in putting these guidelines together, and he's just done a great job. So thank you, Chris, so much for all that you're putting together. I think this is the way to go about beating COVID-19, and I think this is the way to continue getting back to life as it were before. And we've got to work together, and we've got to make these things happen.
And do it safely. Back to business safely is a good byline.
Yep.
And at the same time, back to remediation, environmental business safely.
That's exactly right. All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. And we will be talking soon as we continue the task force conversations.
Okay. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate
All right,
it.
man. Yep. See ya.